Notice that the number 6 bears the shape, bears the depiction. It's figurative of a babe in the womb. How that babe would curled up like a 6 in the womb. So 6 is the beginning, because a baby being conceived in the womb is a mark of a new beginning, is the beginning of life. It's the beginning of a purpose, because everyone was born for a purpose. So it's 6 being the beginning of anything. 6 represents initiation, because initiate also means to begin. So 6 is the mark of initiation. So 666 is the mark of initiation. And this is how a person takes the mark of the beast, through the process of initiation. The strength of initiation means that all that you have to do to be initiated is to have a beginning, any kind of beginning, from anywhere, from any place, any start, no matter how small it is. It is an initiation. So then, if you're connected to something that is connected to something that is connected to something else, that is connected to something else and continues, doesn't matter how far that go. The further apart it goes, the stronger is the argument of initiation. The initiation becomes stronger. That point of beginning that start with the very smallest of things, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it becomes nothing. It comes to the point now where you can not even see this thing. So now it is gone into the spiritual world, because it now becomes so small physically that you can't even see it. So now if you can't see it with your physical eyes, and even though it still exists, because no matter how small it is, it still exists. So even though it's small, too small for you to see, but yet it still exists. Now it exists in the spiritual world, because you cannot see it in the physical world. And this is why initiation and the power of initiation is more of a spiritual thing than a physical thing. Because a thought have to be first a thought, and an intent have to be first an intent, before that intent can be birthed. Because the time when that intent is conceived That's the beginning of that intent. So now the intent is birthed. And it is brought out in the physical world. First appearing small. Then it grows. And it grows and it grows into a larger thing. And it grows into an elephant, so to speak. So the power of initiation rests with intent design. Now that thing that was initiated whether it was a child from birth or an idea that was born or a concept or a theology or a thought of one, destructive or indestructive, the reason why this thing was initiated is because it have to grow. It need time to grow. If it did not need time to grow, then it did not need to be initiated. Because it's initiated because it needs to grow. And this thing can grow into bigger things and bigger things and bigger things and bigger things. And into an elephant again, so to speak. So now we have something that begins, that must grow. This means that anything that you see in the physical world that is manifested and that is here in the physical sense, where you can touch it, where you can feel it, where you can experience it. You have to start from somewhere. And that place of initiation could be as small as a thought or as an intent. So what does it seem? Are you looking deep enough into the subject? It should be obvious here that intent can design. And any intent can design, whether it's an intent that will design a good thing or a bad intent that will design a bad thing. So then when a person's intentions are bad, it doesn't matter what it appears that they are doing. So this thing that they are doing may appears to be a good thing, and though the thing that they done on was a good thing in the first place, the end result of that thing is going to be a bad thing, because it is a bad intent. It was a bad intent that designed it in the first place. Therefore, it cannot end good. So what happened is that this bad intent design had came out and had sought for a purpose to happen. So when it comes out seeking for a purpose to happen, it found things in the real world and in the real life that it can change and use it for its purpose. So even though those things appear to be what they were, which are things as they were, yet the end result of these things are going to be bad end result because of the intent design that is operating through this thing, or that is using this thing, or that have this thing as its purpose. And this intent design was bad in the first place. So when an intent was designed, whenever time a demon get into a person or brings about an idea that it needs help with, the person that it gets into to brings about its intent and its design, this person can be a good person aimed to do good things. But it's being used by this bad intent design, and because the intent design that is using this person is of evil, this evil does not tempt this person to destroy his work, because this person has already signed up to carry out this thing based on this instruction of this evil. And this is why I have some people go through life without challenges, or without much challenges, or without much fight, because the demons have these people to work with, and they have already consented to work for these demons, even though they know not what they consented to. Because the thing about the darkness is that the darkness does not have to reveal its motive. Because if the darkness reveals its motives, then it defies even the very purpose of darkness itself. Because the whole purpose of darkness is to deceive. Because that is the thing that belongs to the darkness, the deception. If it was not deception, then it would have been enlightening, and that would have been from the light. But because its deception is from the dark. So the darkness does not have to reveal its agenda to the person that is trying to deceive. It works through them as deception. And the person that they get, or that have agreed with them, or that have agreed to carry out this intent design, whether this person may know that this is what they are doing or not, by them agreeing to the demonic force and to this spirit in whatever form, this spirit now controls their life, and they are going to carry out the will of the spirit. They're going to have a baby for this thing. And this intent is going to be birthed. So what the demons do is that they work through people to carry out their agenda, their dark agendas. And these people, some of them even believe that they are doing good things and that they are being a credit to humanity by the things that they've done. But they know not that the works that they are carrying out is the works of darkness, or that they are being used or recruited through the spirit of darkness. Because when the spirit of darkness recruit this man, he did not declare to him properly, correctly, what the agenda was going to be, or what agenda he was going to work on. He shows this person beautiful things and dreams. So the man is following after his ego. And these things that he's doing boost his ego. So he's really working for the devil and knows it not, because this thing did not reveal to him the truth. And this is how the spirit of the black horse work. As I had said that I would come back and mention this entity of the beast that I had yet to finish explaining. The spirit of the black horse is the power of initiation, and that you are going to get to initiate as many people as they can. And one of their most effective tools in recruiting people is through social media and through the internet. So now you have a social media such as Facebook, and with the writer, with the builder of Facebook being a brilliant technician who is wise and crafty in the things that he does. He has skills. And he thought of this idea how he can do this thing and how he can become this thing. And while he thought of this idea, the demons see this idea as something that might become useful to their agenda. So the spirit of the black horse that rules from behind the console had got into the picture and got into this man's dream without even him knowing, and has used his work, had got him to agree to that spirit so that that spirit could control him, and had used his work to destroy the congregations of the church and to put a curse upon this network, so that any church who signs up to Facebook or use this medium as a part of what they intend to use to promote their ministry will experience empty branches in the longer run. Their audience will be vacated because the spirits of darkness is working behind these networks. And this is why when you add a Facebook page for your church, rather than that building your congregation, because it might seem for a while that it's working, because anything that is not going to work always work for a while. And this is how deception works. Then after a while, 5 years down the line, you look and there's nothing but empty benches in your church. Because as the man who created Facebook, even though he did not intend on doing it, but as he was infiltrated by the demon spirit of the black horse, because they saw his work as an entity that they could use to initiate man and to appear through. As he was deceived, so is all the users who use this network deceived. So is the church, so is the minister deceived into believing that this spirit could work and could be used to grow his organization into a bigger thing. So what he used to grow his organization into a bigger thing has placed a curse upon his ministry. His church got empty afterwards. This is the curse that he had signed up to without knowledge of what he's doing. Because those who call themselves leaders over the houses of God, over these denominations, over these congregations, they have no idea what they're doing and the depths of these things and how spiritual things work. So what the Black Horse does through social media, through Facebook and through other social media, it is that it recruits the brethren from the church. It gets into the church, and this principality takes over the church. The spirit takes over the church and leads the congregation into condemnation, into the initiation under the mark of the beast, and has been leading many souls, millions of souls, to hell. Saints of God, we make these videos because we need for you to watch them, every one of them, and to pay attention to the things that I teach you. I myself, I'm a computer programmer with a lot of experience. I know how to build a social network from the scratch. And I can tell you right now that the way you participate in these social media and pretend to be prophets, trying to spread the word and trying to promote your ministry and trying to save souls, you have no idea what you're doing. Because you cannot use the instruments that belong to the beast to promote the gospel that belongs to God. Because if you touch anything that belongs to the dead, you stink. You're of the dead. The body of the dead cannot reign over the body of life, or else the body of life will become dead. And these things that these ministers of the churches are doing without knowledge, without understanding, without first consulting with the Holy Spirit for them to open their eyes and to watch out for them, watch over their back and see where they are placing their feet. Order their steps so that they walk not in the path of the ungodly, nor sit in the seat of the scornful, nor stand in the ways of sinners. And the absence of the Holy Spirit leading the way, even on these small things that you feel are small things. Because you might look at a thing one way and be judging this thing the wrong way without the understanding. You are to do nothing without first consulting the Holy Spirit about what you're doing. This is how the church right now is in error. This is how the church has been lost. This is how the church has been struck down with the world, with the wrath of God. Whether those wraths be in the epidemic or the plague or the curse of coronavirus diseases or same-sex marriage, which is definitely the initiation of the mark of the beast, or anything that the world does and the church follow doing these things without first consulting with the Holy Spirit. That is a formula for trouble. That is a formula for disaster. This is the power of initiation. This is the spirit of the black horse. And this is how very few people shall be saved. But the church as a whole shall end up into utter destruction. Saints of God, I need for you to pay close attention to the things that I teach you in this series about understanding the mark of the beast. When you go into Walmart or into these places and you buy things made in China, China is a dragon, as I have said before, that gave power to the beast, which is the corporate system or corporate America. And you cannot buy anything except it's made in China. It's all made in China, made by the dragon, which supplies the beast. The dragon gave power to the beast. Neither can they buy anything except it's made in China, because then it would not be competitive for them to sell. Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to what you're doing. This is a time, this is a call to holiness. This is a call to the church to wake up in this time, to open up your eyes. Pay attention to the things that are going on around you. And don't be deceived. The church needs to be separated from the world. And I saw a need to do that. It also occurred to me today that I shall get my people together and to go over the world and to teach the gospel and to preach the gospel to everyone as it is being heard for the first time. So I have this world tour to do, to go into every corner of the world and to teach man, to open the eyes of man, so that the church shall be no longer blind, because the church has been lost. It is one thing to be saved, but it's a totally different thing to believe that you're saved when you're not. Please subscribe to this video and look for the next one.